The way you walked away is what they cannot get out of their mind. You didn't make a scene when you left. There was no explanation, no final agreement, no moment where you tried to prove your point to prove your point one last time. You just stepped back in a way in a way that felt quiet, but certain, and that is what made it different from every other time. At first, even you didn't fully understand it. You were used to staying longer, to trying again, to giving things one more chance, even when it didn't feel right. But this time, something in you had already decided before you even moved. You didn't need to say much because you had already seen enough. Because you had already seen enough. That's what changed everything. You didn't work away out of emotion. You walked away with clarity. You had already gone through the confusion, the overthinking, and the effort of trying to make things make sense. By the time you stepped back, you weren't reacting anymore. You were choosing. And that kind of decision leaves a different impact. At first, they may not have taken it seriously. They were used to you coming back, used to you trying again, and used to the cycle continuing. They expected your silence to be temporary, something that would pass like before. That expectation made them comfortable in the beginning. But your absence stayed consistent. You didn't return to explain yourself. You didn't reopen conversations that were already clear in your mind. You allowed your decision to stand without needing to defend it. And that is what made it real. Now they are left with that moment, not just the fact that you left, but how you did it. The calmness, the lack of reaction, and the way you didn't fight to stay has stayed with them longer than they expected. It is something they replayed because it didn't match what they were used to. That's where the impact is. They cannot attach your departure to anger or emotion because it wasn't driven by that. It came from understanding, and that makes it harder to dismiss or ignore. It forces them to think about what led you to do that, about what led you to that point. And that is what stayed in their mind. The way you didn't argue, the way you didn't beg, and the way you didn't try to hold onto something that wasn't right. That quiet decision created a space they cannot easily explain away. You didn't just walk away. You showed them that you were no longer willing to stay in something that didn't feel right. And that realization is something they kept going back. That realization is something they kept coming back to because it wasn't loud. It was clear.